1, 2. Hey. Sure.
Okay, 3, that looks good. Coming to you. Ready, 3, and take 2. On 2. 2, you're live.
Jackass!
The Show Tech Show. I'm your host, Rick, and we're talking to you from the Black Void of the Roanoke Studios, where keying means nothing. Oh, never mind. Hi. Like I said, I'm Rick, your host on the Show Tech Show, alongside my co-host, Scott.
Nothing but quality.
Oh, yeah. So pro here out at the Show Tech Show. Thank you all for joining us once again. It's a Sunday night, so that means it must be time for the Show Tech Show, your weekly look at behind the scenes life and all the goodness that comes with that perspective in life. If you're not a behind the scenes technician, we know you'll soon want to be after watching this train wreck. That goofy laugh means Jordan's joined us. Yay! Jordan's back from NAB this week.
Back
hey.
from NAB, great, from a good time and all that other good stuff. Oh, look at Scott's glasses.
Oh my
he has.
gosh.
Hold on, put it back on. Put it back on. Put it back on.
Put
Put it back on.
specs.
Look at this. Look at this. Oh my gosh.
Grandpa, I can't read the menu.
That is so awesome.
Well, yeah, so Jordan is back. He was out at
Yes.
NAB last week. Actually, he joined us for the show last week. He somehow skated that in between his red-eye flights and crazy work schedule, but he's back with some good footage and a report from the show floor.
Yep.
Tonight, we're going to be talking about production hacks once again. This will be our ongoing series of little nuggets of wisdom from people in the know about how to get more out of your Show Tech show. This week, we're talking about audio hacks. And so we'll just kind of riff on a few things that we picked up over the years doing what we do. None of us actual audio professionals, but it's kind of one of those things you pick up what you have to do from having done it.
Numerous things.
Okay, I take that back. Scott is a professional at everything he does. So would it be weird if I just sat over here? I feel like we're not centered up properly.
Y'all can do whatever y'all want.
Screw you guys.
You are there.
There you go. Bring it in, Scott. Come on, show me some love. We'll also have our weekly look at the job board segment that we like to do. Yeah, come on. Okay, clock it.
Scoot
Clock it.
over.
Oh, okay.
Scoot it
I don't-
hey now.
Suddenly very uncomfortable for a web show. This is where it goes weird. The job board is our recurring segment that we do every week on the show here to show you the jobs that are available out there in the show tech industry. If you're looking for something better or something to get started, we try to change it up and show you the variety that's available for the working man or woman. And of course, we'll have our look at all of your industry news and technology updates in our weekly segment that we like to call Next. So let's go ahead and hit that. Yes, nailed it. So let's see. Jordan, you want to lead off with your footage from the show floor? Your experiences while at NAB in Las Vegas. This is the National Association of Broadcasters annual conference where you get to see all the latest and greatest technology and trends coming out. The future of mass communication.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and talk about that. NAB, it's the National Association of Broadcasters annual conference here in Las Vegas, Nevada. And some really good, interesting stuff that came out. We have the 4K, it's more about the 4K production, 4K cameras, 4K broadcast cameras, studio cameras, and stuff like that.
Drones.
A
lot of drones.
Oh, a lot of drones. I always thought there's like probably 2 brands of drones out there, but there's only actually one brand of drone. I thought there's like only 2 main brands, but there's actually probably 15 to 20 brands of drones out there that I didn't even know about. It had the names of DJI and some others and like Free Fly and stuff like that. But there's all these other ones that are making out the market. Some that are just fully automated systems. That can basically you can program a map. A program of points in a map in an iPad, and it's going to follow that map for you. It'll follow you wherever you go.
And I heard some of these are getting pretty serious. Like there are rigs that will carry full-size cameras now.
Yeah,
and,
they're making them where they can have multiple blades, 8 blades, and they can hold up to really heavy-duty cameras and
like
stuff like
6-foot wingspans and things like pretty serious little choppers there. That,
it's pretty interesting.
You're a future dronist, aren't you? From what I hear.
Yeah, I've thought about it for years. Ever since like the DJI Phantom 1 came out. When the Phantom 1 came out, I was like, I want to get a drone. I want to get a drone. And now they had the Phantom 3. And so I'm like, when am I going to bite the dust and get this drone just to goof around with.
I just love talking about drones. I don't know. It wasn't all
Drone.
drones for you. And actually, you've got a video that you took and
Yes,
put together
I
for us.
do.
And from what I can only assume, this is just going to be about 10 minutes of just booth babes.
Yeah,
and cleavage.
it is. Oh my gosh! Can I tell you one thing? There is
Show
this-
me the video.
Yeah, well, the video doesn't do justice, but I don't know where these companies hire out these women. I don't. Not to say that it's bad, but there's good looking women.
Las
there,
Vegas, pretty women. I have no idea where they would come from. I just
but yeah, so.
total amateur.
Anyways, yeah, here's a quick video about the NAB action going on. A quick little short little clip.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
So a lot of fun out there, huh?
Yeah, it was. You know, this is pretty amazing. You know, every year NAB just completely surprises me with all the new innovations and stuff like that coming out.
So you're a video guy. What was your big takeaway from the show? What was your give us your top list? Give us your top 45 things you saw.
45.
Go.
That's kind of hard.
No, just what were your favorites?
45 rounded up to number top 3. Drones, 4K, and all the new EVS competition out there. EVS, everything. You know, there's EVS used to be the only kind of main company out there, the main dogs out in the fight that were out there for recording to hard drives and replay and stuff like that. But now almost every brand out there, from Grass Valley to Sony to Ross, all has something similar to EVS, and they're out there for the big fight. Also with kind of a
That's big bucks too.
Oh yeah,
yeah, it is.
Pro.
It's pretty expensive, you know, but they're all. It's
that's
all,
budget
you're-
production
you're-
right there, my
I
friend.
get emails every week of people looking for EVS technicians. It's insane.
so you're out there and it's competition. It's good. Yeah, you know, EVS is a great thing to learn, but you know, it's really well paid also, and you're going to get constantly busy if you become an EVS operator.
Well,
So if that's something you want to do, go learn it because it's in high demand. EVS is.
do we have the more you know bumper from NBC?
No, I only had the Katy Perry thing.
Just have that for 5 minutes, her swinging around the air.
Yes.
And how about specific products? Anything that you got to get your hot little hands on, either in your freelance life or hopefully in your day job?
My day job, yeah, there's a few things I can suggest. The day job, robotic dolly systems. You probably saw a brief snippet, a clip of it.
Yep.
That was cool.
It's that was the one thing I saw with that jib arm / dolly /
Hell yeah, I want it.
Frankenstein thing. You know, it
Really,
was pretty
the hard
amazing.
part about being a jib op is you have to actually like do stuff.
Yeah.
This would be so much better. I could just sit
It's like,
back and
I
use
could
a
sit there on a
joystick.
computer and
Wow.
basically just program the designs and program where to go, and it does it for me.
Yeah. Why are
But there's some other robotic
we
dolly
using our
systems
muscles
that
like
are
fuckers?
these robotic dolly systems. They pet up and down. They move on a dolly track. It's a
Used to
camera head
sucker.
and everything else. And those are like what's going in studios right now. Like basically, TV studios are going fully automated, where us camera ops are going out of business because these computer automated robots are taking over business. But that's the way the future
They
is.
took our jobs.
Yeah.
Then they came for us. All right. Well, I don't know if a lot of the tech stuff that we're covering in the next segment is kind of NAB related because a lot of the technology and the new product announcements this week are all centered around that show.
Yes.
I'll say next if you've got the bumper lined up. There it is, folks. So, but that said, we're kind of roll into some new stuff. Now, one of the announcements I saw was for a new product from Sennheiser. This is one of their new digital wireless mic lines. This is kind of an audio show we're doing. So this is their AFX series of wireless microphones. And this is one of those that's taking advantage of the new frequency ranges that have been opened up by the FCC. I believe they're up in the 5 gigahertz range, so it takes them up above the traditional professional UHF spectrum. And so that's kind of unique. And then also these AFX mics will have encryption built in standard because it's a digital thing. So if you're in any sort of sensitive production environment where you don't want eavesdropping, whether it's government or healthcare, things like that, cool, nice little add-on. And that kind of ties into some stuff I'm going to talk about later on. But yeah, that's kind of a new thing. What do you guys think about AFX and Sennheiser wireless?
I've messed with Sennheiser wireless, and they're really good. They're really easy to work with and stuff like that. I kind of like the encrypted frequencies that you can use and stuff like that.
Yeah, usually
they're
it seems
really
like
good
you have to go
brands.
pretty high end to get that encryption built in. So this is kind of a nice, like we were talking about pre-show. Shure tends to come in with these technologies first, and then Sennheiser comes in, undercuts them, and kind of tweaks it out a little bit more. But leveraging that open bandwidth that's not so congested outside of the UHF, VHF bands, that's kind of cool. And then like I said,
Yeah, because I don't know if Shure's BLX series is encrypted or not. Their BLX is their digital series.
Okay. Well, anybody else want to talk about wireless audio, or do we want to get into the next stuff? Oh, all right.
There's that answer.
Now I know. Scott, you were all
What?
jazzed up about this new switcher from Roland. Innovative
Roland.
video switcher company. Traditionally an audio company, but they've got some really nice video offerings for your one-man band, and this kind of takes their offering to a whole new level.
Yes, the V1200 HD.
In stereo.
This was rolled out at NAB last weekend. You didn't get to see the rollout, did you?
No, I didn't get a chance to go out there, cause I only
That's the
have
1600. Find the 1200.
Well, oh my gosh,
The 1200 is the new one.
that's the link that was on the document.
Never read the document.
Never read
on.
the document.
Never read.
Show
oh my
prep
gosh.
is an illusion.
Yes, there you go. Anyways, this new switcher is the reason why I bring it up. I'm not a video head, but I do a lot. I
didn't want to say it.
do a lot of stuff as far as conventions and stuff where we're doing multiple videos at the same time.
A jackass of all trades.
Yes, I'm a jackass of all trades. And that's where this system actually excited me because it's not a 1 MLE, it's not a 1.5 MLE, it's 2 MLEs. So you can actually be doing 2 different shows altogether, 2 different video conglomerations.
That's actually pretty powerful, yeah.
Switcher.
Yeah,
Is this the 1200?
a two mixer effect.
V1200 HD.
Yeah, a dual mixer effect board in that compact form factor. That's pretty nice offering.
And
what is that, like
there you
4
go.
rack unit, 3 rack unit space?
It's a 4 rack unit,
Yeah.
and the control surface can be shipped in a, or can go in a regular ATI case.
Yeah.
It's
4K ready.
Yeah, it
Wow.
is, and that's where I kind of got excited, is that it's already 4K ready. It's Wi-Fi enabled, so you can actually run this from an iPad. So if you're doing a convention or something where you're low on people,
Yeah.
you can literally have one person running lights, sound, and video all from the same place.
That's kind of an offering. I think Blackmagic was the first to really come into the space with that kind of thing. But that's a neat. It's kind of a gimmick to a lot of people. But I think that's a nice flexibility option with that, especially not having to add anything to it.
Yeah.
Where if you're doing a
yeah.
full bore production, you can have a TD, you can have somebody working the buttons and having the hardware interface. But if you're doing something that's more light broadcast, something more like this kind of environment, it gives that hardware the ability to flex down to a lighter stack.
It's a great little switcher for the smaller touring company, the convention go-getters, small churches. This is it's not something that I would go in and install in a large
touring house.
gateway style church or a touring house or Pantego Bible Church or any of these big mega churches where you need, in excess of 4 MLEs running at one time.
Yeah.
So
It'd be great for like a small corporate gig. Like if you're going into a small, not the main exhibit hall or a banquet room, just a small side room that say, oh, we need 2 cameras and a CG or this, this switch, and that's what it's going to be great for right there. It's, small,
good
small to
rental,
medium events.
good
small, compact,
outside broadcast.
It's had to go.
Price point it was
Auction Network.
originally under 5 figures, so that's you're I know that when
hell, I'll take 2.
when you get well Blackmagic switcher was $7,000 when we installed it over at the one church that I worked at. So it's comparable to the Blackmagic. It's definitely cheaper than a Ross and a Grass Valley.
Yeah,
it's nice to see those cheaper options. I've actually been looking at Roland for a long time. They've, like I said, they're not traditionally a company you think about for as far as video switching. They're your audio processing company.
Honestly, I didn't think about them for much more than keyboards.
Roland keyboards.
Yep.
Like,
yeah. There you go.
But I'm running at one of my venues. I've got the Roland. I can't remember for the life of me now. Our audio board. We've got 2 digital Roland audio boards over there. And they're really easy to work with. They weren't real expensive either. So I think Roland is becoming a good option for people that are in the lower price point to be able to do shows and look a little more professional.
You said do shows. All right. Well, I'll go ahead and say next to that one. We'll keep it going. We've got a lot of news. So next, please. Don't want to go down the rabbit hole of 90 minutes of news like we did when Nate was on the other week. So that was awful. Awful. Glad to have him on. But man, that was like a 9-day show.
I love that kid.
I heard about that. They ever bring you up on charges for that?
No.
Okay.
He was over 18.
Let's see. This one. So this is again back into the whole streaming media and future of broadcast wheelhouse. I think we are officially starting to see the death rattles of pay television, folks.
I think you're right.
This week, another, I believe Verizon has started to roll out not quite a la carte TV offerings versus the mega million channel packages, but they're making some more Sling TV-esque mini packages now. That the industry is definitely trending more to that model because there's an overwhelming consumer demand for it, and the base of consumers that's allowed them to ignore that demand is either dying of old age or cutting the cord or somehow not enough to keep the enterprise going. So looking to the future, this a la carte thing might actually be happening.
Thank you, Comcast and Time Warner Cable.
Yep, so that's starting to come down. And just as a little aside note on that this week, I thought it was funny that HBO had to issue takedown notices for Periscope.
Really?
And what was Twitter's option there? But yeah, the people were basically pirating through streaming media.
Oh, wow.
The Game of Thrones release. Once it came out, it went viral pretty quick. And Did
I not warn you two about these darn video
Periscopes?
things, peer-to-peer
You sound
networks?
so old.
You guys are all...
I warned you about these videos.
I told you this was going to happen.
Well, if you want to check out Game of Thrones and Shaky Cam on your Twitter, the option is out there, or you can pay $10 a month and get HBO Now.
I used to buy DVDs like when I was going into Mexico, coming across the border.
In Mexico. Okay.
Yeah, in Mexico. So yeah, but they were the same thing. They were like pirated, videos of shaky cam, and you see one person just like walking down the aisle, like go to the bathroom, get snacks.
Yeah, I know. It's like
stuff like that. You're like,
It's so jank.
And I actually used Periscope like a little bit during the week for like the NAB stuff. I'd be walking around with my, Periscope, streaming on.
Was there a Periscope pavilion?
Yeah. No, there wasn't. I wish it was. That'd be interesting. Twitter. And,
You have like 90 guys in a room just aiming their
and
cameras at
the
each
funny
other.
thing is like when the plane landed in Vegas, we were just waiting there on the taxiway, waiting for us to find a place because we arrived there early. So I just opened up Periscope on like live streaming and stuff like that, and I had like 27 followers. People
Yeah,
were like,
the
"Are you allowed to do
instantaneous.
that on a plane and stuff like that?" I was like, "We're landed." It's
And-
like you had the pilot commands like, "Oh, blah 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 blah," and like, "Show me this guy's bald head in front of us." You know, it's like weirdest chats ever.
Are you allowed to do this on a plane? Yeah,
I
it's,
get- yeah,
it's a
they're-
public plane. I'm allowed to be on it. So yeah, if you're in public view, you can be filmed, and now you can be broadcast around the world.
But Periscope, I think, is going to get dangerous here.
Periscope's going to get shut down.
Yeah, maybe. I don't really see a problem with.
You say maybe. I was at an HBO fight last night, and they were taking people's cell phones.
HBO was
Mm-hmm.
like the bar owners or like who? Like
No, like the representatives from the
Oh yeah, because they
the
make
venue
Sure
were confiscating phones. It's Periscope's not going to make it.
I don't know what you can. I mean, that's one of
Well-
those things that like, how are you going to police that? How are you
Yeah,
gonna,
like,
even if it's
there's
illegal,
other-
what are you going to do about it?
Honestly, there's other apps out there like there's other like UStream and stuff like that. You could still do the exact same thing. Why is it being targeted for this one app?
And what if you're wearing your creepy camera glasses with the lights on them? You could be
Yeah.
walking around recording everybody.
But here's the thing.
do those?
Like last night, Michael Buffer was there. Let's get.
Like
I can't say it out loud because we'll get sued.
But no one's listening.
But yeah, we have no viewers.
No one can see us right now.
Oh,
This is-
Michael
this is me,
Buffer.
so yeah, it's
Yeah,
fine.
Michael Buffer was there last night, and well, yeah, because it was live fights on HBO.
Yeah, he does boxing.
Well,
Uh,
not a paid sponsor, by the way, guys.
His brother
talking
does
about HBO like
UFC.
crazy tonight.
so it was it was one of the things going through my head is this guy charges, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 to come and introduce one fight. Because that's all he introduced. They had a different ring announcer for all the fights except
He
for
does
the
main event.
card.
Yeah.
Great gig.
But if people are videotaping that and putting it out on Periscope, he's losing money. Because now everyone's seeing it. And it's like, well, where's that payoff?
Yeah. Well,
I
that
could
gets
see
back
that.
to the old piracy question of is he really losing money or are there people out there who are
Honestly, he's not losing a dime.
yeah, nobody would have paid for that who saw it. If you wanted to see it, you would have paid for it. You're not going to be like, "Oh, how can I get this on Periscope?"
But you see, we jump back into that same question that drives me nuts, which is
Slow down there, Irish.
CDs.
It drives me nuts.
CDs. Hate that.
Compact discs?
Yep.
Or bank loans?
Well, music in itself. Make a video and put it on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
We do that.
Copyrighted music gets pulled off. Okay.
Actually, nowadays they just put a banner ad and take the
that's-
profits off your viewership.
yeah,
It's
that's really kind
awesome.
of funny that they do that. But
Yeah. That's the market reacting to the reality of you can't police piracy.
but that's where
Piracy only protects the people, or only prevents the people who would have obeyed the law from getting access to your content. People who are going to break the law are just going to find the other way to break the law. Done.
you're so wrong.
I'm living proof.
I am a law-abiding citizen.
Yeah, right. And it's not copyright's not keeping you from paying for anything. It's keeping.
Abiding
Oh,
citizen. Citizen.
not a citizen. No green card.
Citizen.
Next.
I
Oh, actually lasted longer than I thought it would. Ho-ho! All right. Tell us about the gaff gun, Scott. This is actually a cool product.
Nelly.
We should have talked about this a long time ago, actually, because I love it. But let's give
Nelly.
it some time here on the,
This
on the
thing
network.
this thing came out about a year ago. Probably the best $250 anyone's ever going to spend.
Oh my God!
Gaff gun.
The gaff gun. There's the picture of it.
There it is in action, folks.
When you are going to lay down cables and you want those lines straight, get the gaff gun. It pulls the cables in, situates the gaff over top of it, and presses it down as you go along.
If you're watching us on YouTube after this show, go and look this up on the tubes. It's cool to see it in action. It just makes it so fast.
The
It's-
video
and gorgeous.
is absolutely phenomenal. It'll do up to 4-inch gaff tape. What else I love about it is anyone that does dancing, that uses a Marley floor. There is actually an attachment for you to tape down your Marley. All straight line,
Yes.
30 seconds, you're done.
There you go.
There
Here
you
it is
go,
in action.
people. That
Look at
is
that.
the
It's
gaff
so
gun.
simple. I mean, like I had to gap down some stuff at work the other day, and it seriously only took me 45
You're not
minutes to
crawling
do that.
around on your knees.
And I was
You
crawling
can-
down on my knees and stuff like that. This is just like, oh my gosh, look at that. It's just like, oh, I
That
just
is
don't
the
care.
best thing
I don't
since
have to
sliced bread.
I don't have to straighten my cable, make it nice and neat. I don't have to like lay down pre-marks and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, that's nice. It makes
just-
it look very
ooh, look at
professional, and the
this.
time saving is there.
oh,
I
it's
mean,
so
I can't
simple.
imagine anybody
And-
not doing this.
And the thing about it is that they sell their own tape because the diameter of the ring is different than regular gaff tape, and,
Oh,
and
really?
that was a proprietary thing. We're gonna do that so that
So
we
it's
can
kind of like
s-
razor blades. They
here's
they
the
sell you
old way
the
to
thing
do
for
it.
cheap, but you need to buy the
But-
special thing.
This is
Oh,
what I was
God.
doing. This is old way, new way. Look, 10 seconds.
Adapters.
they have adapters
Oh,
now,
of
so that you
course.
can use regular gaff tape with it.
Well, there you go. I'm sold. If you
This
if
thing-
you work in a hotel hospitality environment where if you were like me, you're constantly running miles of tape, you need to own 70 of these.
That is the best thing since sliced bread. Somebody please loan me $250 so I can buy
Yeah,
it.
I don't actually do much taping anymore, but if I did, oh my God, that's
Well,
the future right
For
there.
those of us that are
Forget
50,
flying cars. We've got tape that rolls itself.
for those of us that are 50 years old and
F
don't like to
that.
get down on our
Yeah.
hands and knees
Let me
anymore.
just bend over and run tape for 45 minutes.
I saw that. It took forever.
Scott, good call. Totally agree. I'm gonna say next because
Buy
really
the gaff gun.
not a sponsor. And I'm going to talk about the Buble spherical camera.
Buble.
This is something that's coming out actually pretty quick here in May. But not too long ago on the show, we talked about YouTube's 360 videos that it supports now. And this is basically something that's recorded in Spherovision. And then someone after the fact using either a VR rig or a handheld Android app to look at YouTube. You can move around in that pre-recorded space in real time and check out all the different points of view on a whim.
Booble?
Buble, B-U-B-L, is the name of the camera. It's an $800
Buble.
product that has, I think, 4 HD cameras integrated into it. It's soon to have surround sound audio microphones built into it. And they're all wide-angle field of view cameras that record everything simultaneously, and then you put that footage into whatever your output is, YouTube supporting it natively. And they have an app, of course. The wide angles kind of cancel out the camera, so you never see the camera, but you can see the entire surrounding universe just with one simple handheld camera. It's a tiny little handheld device. So coming soon to the Lone Star, I'm thinking we're going to absolutely have to get that because that's going to afford us to do some really cool little production options, I think, going forward. What do you guys think about 360 video? Gimmick or Awesome Town?
Awesome.
Yeah? You're a fan?
Awesome.
I'm always up for new technology, stuff like this.
I think, yeah.
Best thing since sliced bread.
Gets my, well, you're out, Gaff Gun. Sorry. No, but no, seriously, I think this is it gets my creative juices going. I'm kind of like, yeah, I could do something with it. I could figure out. I think for live events, that'd be awesome. I'm a big live event guy here, so doing concerts, doing photo tours of landmarks and things like that. Just
Do you do live events?
occasionally, I do. Yeah.
Really?
I don't ever do any recorded stuff anymore. It's pretty much all run and gun. So, did you know
Shoot a balloon.
this is actually a live event that we're doing right now? What if I had a camera here that they could see everything? They could see us. They could see the
They would-
teleprompter. They
they
could see
would
the
see I'm
beautiful
not-
audience. You guys are great. Thanks for being here tonight, all of you. Yeah.
They would
Autographs.
see that I'm not wearing pants.
They'd see you're not wearing. Ah! Just joking. So that's all I really got for news. Anybody else want to talk about anything before we move out of the next segment, or are we going to next the next?
Next!
Next it. All right. Well, that was fun, and thanks for bearing with us through it. Now I want to kind of get into our weekly job segment. We call it the job board. Want to hear it? Hear it go. Yeah. I made it.
Looks neat.
It is neat. Okay, that's all there is. Tonight, Scott, you brought in some, like you said at the top of the show, some more theatrical specific resources for us to start pulling for these jobs. And I think that's important. I want to include our theater crowd out there. The live and stage production is a serious part of our community. So Playbill.com, their job section, I'll start off with them. The New York production of Legally Blonde, the musical. Fantastic movie series, by the way.
Thank you.
Oh my God. Love them. They have an immediate opening for a lighting designer, May 6th through 9th, for their run up in New York City, but with potential to stay on for the fall and spring touring productions. So if you're a lighting person or know a lighting person who wants to go up to New York and be a part of Legally Blonde the musical, you can check that out on. Oh, really? Oh, well, we'll keep recording. We'll keep recording. We'll do it. We'll do it not live. That's funny because 5 seconds ago I was saying this is a live event, Scott. We're doing it live.
Nobody's watching anyway.
My kids are
We're fine.
watching Amazon upstairs. So that's Playbill.com's jobs section. Offstagejobs.com. They've got a local listing for Dallas Children's Theater, hiring a sound engineer for their 8-play season that's coming up. This is basically someone who's going to function as an audio lead, doing everything from QC engineering to training other audio underlings on how to use the equipment and set up there. So it's a Dallas Children's Theater, fun group out there on offstagejobs.com. And then back to the old standards I found on Indeed.com this week. Sports Radio 105.3 here in the Metroplex. The Fan is hiring a full-time board op / associate producer. This is CBS Radio's sports radio offering on 105.3 FM. We're back on the air.
Nobody's watching.
Come on.
You don't know that. They could be pirating the stream with their Periscope app. So suck it.
That's what I'm doing.
That's why nobody's watching. We've got 90,000 people watching on Jordan.
Yep.
Also this week, Mandy.com, one of my old favorites. IDG TV, this is the video outlet for PC World Magazine, the Tech Hive, that production publishing house. They're hiring a full-time cam op / editor in the San Francisco area. Sounds like actually a really cool company to work for, and that'd be a neat location. If you ever want to do anything out on the West Coast, full-time cam op for IDG.TV. Oh, these guys, actually, that's where I found the report about the Booble camera. So
Booble.
they do a lot of tech reporting, obviously, and if you're a video guy,
It's about the booble.
all about the Booble.
It's all about Google.
And
The
we'll,
Booble.
we'll close it out on productionhub.com. Russia Today is hiring a full-time news photog in the D.C. area. So RTTV, you're familiar? It's kind of it's one of these new channels that's starting to make, obviously growing up in Asia, but it's becoming more of a European and now an American presence with a D.C. office. The Russians are here. You gonna go work for the Russians, Jordan?
That would be an interesting job to do. You know, I wonder if I can get like
Good way to get your travel visa pulled.
Yeah, I wonder if I can go to Russia.
No more express lane for you, sir.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd be allowed to wear the shirt that I've worn 2 weeks in a row.
Nah. I salute your patriotism, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, right on. And that's all we've got for the job board this week. Remember, you can tune in every week here on the Showtech Show for our look around the industry and see what people are hiring and what job might be the best for you. So closing that out, we're going to move on to our main topic tonight. And as we tease it at the top of the show, we're talking about production hacks this month. We started off doing video earlier in the series, and we did lighting hacks last week with our special guest host, Scott. Thanks for coming back. Today, we're talking about some audio hacks.
Wearing the same shirt.
Yeah, let's just keep harping on that.
Fuck off.
You're a hack. So, I guess I just got some little things I'll toss out there for just conversation topics. But one of the things I'm kind of proud of this week, I'm still working my Dunkelweiss stink though.
Summary.
It's all good.
You want to talk about your salute to your friend this week before we go into our main topic
Oh, we could.
and your strange, ill-placed?
Yeah, this is it. This is sad. This is sad. This actually happened on March 19th, and I'm just now getting to it.
Show's been really crazy. We've been doing a lot of production.
Or I mean March 9th. Yeah, I'm just such a bad person.
I've been saying it for years.
Any of you that watch TV knows the Miller Brewing guy, the Miller Brewing delivery guy. He actually died last month of a blood clot, and he's been around the Fort Worth area for years. He was only 36 years old, but so apparently he was around for 36 years. But he was big in the entertainment industry around town. So in honor of you tonight, I'm drinking beer
with a yellow label.
with the yellow label because we couldn't find Miller.
Apparently, the local distribution centers did not have Miller High Life, and Scott only drinks the champagne of beers.
That's right.
So, and when he can't, he's drinking something yellow.
Thank you, Willie.
But yeah, well, he's definitely a local hero of sorts, and we honor him by drinking. Apparently,
Thank you, sir.
Prost.
Thank you for delivering the best.
Yeah, there you go. There's the man.
There's the man himself. Wendell was a nice guy. We met him a few times at a few events in Fort Worth and Dallas, and here's to you, my friend.
Here's to you.
Cheers, mates. Well, all right. That said, let's bring it home.
Let's have some fun now.
Let's talk about some audio.
What do you want to know about
audio life hacks? Well, this week I'm experimenting with audio post-processing.
Yes, and we found out that you don't know what you're doing.
It's a little bit of a black art.
Oh.
I think I'm doing okay. I at least know what I'm doing as much as you do with wardrobe.
Jackass.
So we discovered the magic of three things, really. Compression, which is a dubious tool in the audio world. It has a tendency to kind of alter the sound and presence of vocals and just any audio element in your chain. But it also, when used properly, you can get a little bit more presence out of your audio without overdriving your signal and causing those peaks and distortions that are bad when there's too much shenanigans going on. So that's one good thing to know about. We're also experimenting with noise gates. Watch. See when I talk, it's kind of because I have like a really raspy voice, but when I stop talking, it goes quiet. That's a noise gate. So we've got a noise gate processor in the chain this week. That's basically just something when the volume level falls below a certain threshold that a sound goes away. It automatically mutes the line, and it kind of rides that intelligently. Either that's done in software or with a piece of hardware. And then another important thing on this show is an audio limiter.
I wonder why.
Yeah, Scott decides to take it off the rails for all the old blue hairs at home trying to listen in, and suddenly they're what do they call those little ear things that people listen to the TV on at night because they don't want to turn it up and bother their spouse. And then the car advertisement comes on and yells really loud. And they're like, "Oh, it's too loud, too loud." A limiter will prevent that from happening. That's actually really big in the radio world, where the amount of signal output you have will affect how much radio bandwidth you're using, and that could be a very bad no-no. So they have to put very hard limits on that. And then you also have things like in television, there's actually FCC limitations on how loud certain broadcasts can be. You can't let your commercials come on like I'm talking about and overdrive everything while they're hawking the mattress sale or whatever. So I bring up these three magic things because we threw in a product by Behringer this week into the audio chain that does all three in one. It's a 4-channel noise gate, compressor, limiter, exciter, all in one unit. So it takes our random audio we throw in. It does a little bit of sweetening as if we had an Audio Pro, and it just does that live for us before it puts it in the chain. So hopefully it provides a little bit better product. And what do you got? Have you guys ever done anything like that as far as house production? I have very limited audio skill sets and experience, and most of my stuff is just mics to board to speakers. Done.
Yeah, that's about the same as me. It's just my board speakers. I don't do that much EQing when like people like live band. I don't EQ. I don't know what to do that much EQing. I just like
and I think a lot of that's from being live
turn up
production
that bass.
people.
It's
I
all
think
about that bass.
if you're in post, that's obviously something you can run filters through software a million times and sweeten audio all you want. But if you're mainly a live production guy, you don't really have time for that. You just want to record something that sounds decent, that's usable, and that could be edited later. But yeah, I kind of like this. I'm kind of I'm digging this new gear, and I think it does a lot to kind of clean up what we're working with here. I mean, we're not exactly in a soundproof, ultra high-tech studio. So now when my naked children are running through the house screaming, you probably won't hear it as much in the background. I'm not guaranteeing it, but that's one of the little things we're trying to do to sweeten the chain here. Also, I wanted to talk about, what did you say?
I see Scott removing his ears out.
Oh, I thought, that shit, I'm done. I'll be in my trailer. VHF as a wireless audio option. So Scott recently donated to the network here a pretty nice kit. Actually, it's a 1 rack unit 4-channel wireless kit that we've been using. We're pretty short range here. I mean, we're all of 6 feet away from
feet?
the yeah. we used to actually put our feet up on the audio receiver, and then we changed out gear. So and VHF has been one of those things for a while that I always considered like obviously you want to go UHF because UHF is what professionals use and things like that.
Mhm.
And that's not untrue. UHF is probably going to give you better range and flexibility. Well, I was pretty impressed with how great these VHF systems work.
With the
Yeah.
distance that I mean, if I was in a concert hall, I'd want UHF, but
Yeah.
for this, I mean, even up to 100 feet, I think we'd be fine.
Well, you walked out to the kitchen through several walls, and we
Oh, yeah.
could hear you going to the fridge and clinking the bottles
So
around. So I mean,
these
it's
are
not.
VHF.
These are VHF.
These
Wow.
are VHF.
Yeah.
And I was actually surprised at how much range is. It lists 300 feet on them. So 300 feet of range, that's
Yeah, and-
comparable to any theater that you're gonna go.
Yeah,
into.
and that's your best case scenario. That's if you're in a dead warehouse in the middle of the desert with no cell phones or competing
Mhm.
radiation or anything. But not
But
awful
they're
at
VHF, so you're not gonna have competing cell phones.
all. Less and less nowadays, and that's what my topic on this was. Is it time to revisit VHF as a viable option?
Well, it is now
because
that they've
I-
restructured.
Yeah, the
I
the
mean-
white space is all. If there's anything in that white space, it's digital. It's not interfering with your analog wireless.
Yeah, it's
This is great bandwidth and great product and super affordable. I mean,
cheap.
why
They're
would-
cheap.
yeah, that's amazeballs. So I think that's a kind of a good little hack there. If you're not in the $3,000 audio range and you need to get something to get a pretty decent product on, like in one of like I'm hearing a little bit of snow coming off mine, and I think it's because I'm wearing a T-shirt and the element's not up in my face. These units actually they're TA3 connectors, so they're pretty standardized. If we want to get some real high-end boom mics or whatever. Jordan,
Yeah, I mean, when I've got a little bit of cash, we'll get some.
yeah,
but
I'm gonna make Scott pay for that, of course.
hey,
But Jordan, pot us down real fast. Pot 1 and 2
What?
down,
What?
so it's just you.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I am talking right now. I don't know what to talk about, but I'm talking right now. So this is me talking. Robert. Yeah, we're here. Ponyo back up.
So yeah, my thanks for the tech note there. But doing what you
Pod.
said now.
Pod.
But anyway, I think that sounds pretty decent. I mean, it's going through a little bit of audio post processing, but I mean that's a nice, good,
It's not
deep
bad.
sound. There's no distortion. There's no noise. There's no.
I'm not a big fan of the lavaliers, but
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
We could do the Garplic style.
well,
What I'm doing.
yeah, we definitely put the boom mic on Jordan. That's mainly just a video decision. But I mean, yeah, we've got. That's another thing about the set. They also came with the over the ears, so we can
Mhm.
we can do that. If we want to do the live now from Sports Center, we're going to talk about blah blah blah.
And there's down the 50, the 40, the 30,
I think
the
it's
20,
a
the
little
10.
overkill for this. This is a little bit more casual.
Touchdown.
Scott, I don't think we've seen a run like that since Dickie Jones back in the '70s for
Dickie. It's all
Mm.
about Dickie.
Ball State. I don't.
The
Ah.
Dickie.
So,
My
we're
name
a little
is
bit more
Laura.
casual show here. I don't think the over the ear. That's why I'm not opting for him. But
Well, you can not opt for them all you want.
your mic.
But it's all about that bass.
So VHF, don't write it off. Not
Yeah, it's
Not a bad
really not a bad thing.
agreed. Agreed.
Wasn't there a TV show like called UHF or something like that?
Oh, that Weird Al movie.
Yeah. I don't know why. That
It's-
just makes me think about it.
It's actually my unauthorized biography by Weird Al Yankovic, where he's gifted a failing UHF TV station by his rich, crazy uncle, and he has to come up with 24 hours a day of programming. So he hires all these crazy people and janitors and office clerks, and just says, "Okay, go make TV," and they end up becoming a cult hit, and everybody loves them. So that's the story about that. This is my phone went
Oh,
off.
that's that Chromecast thing.
Yeah, we're using Chromecast for the chat room. This
Man, we're top of the line.
high
here.
tech. We're
Let's
cutting edge.
think about donations.
So I was reading about earlier today.
Oh yes, if you want to donate to us so that we can have better equipment,
Just send your cash. Why would they do that?
email
We need
Rick.
to have a Kickstarter.
Emails
We need a
show.
Kickstarter.
I think we should
We
should do
should
this.
crowdsource this, baby.
Have you guys
Indigo.
seen that spring
Indiegogo.
tea
Spring tea.
or Teespring?
Yes. Yeah.
Where you can actually set up your own campaign.
Patreon. We could
Yeah.
get Patreons. There's all sorts of options. I don't know why we're paying for this out of pocket like suckers, but
Because you're
Oh.
broke and cheap.
I'm
We're all,
stupid.
no, we're all like startup company.
Yeah. This is
We'll get there.
We're super cash. Super cash. Matching microphones. So apparently this used to be more of an issue back in the day, but it was a big thing to when you're buying microphones, especially when you're doing stereo pairs for like podiums or things like that, that you would want the microphones to be electrically identical to one another so that they would produce the exact same tone and sound and everything. People would go out of their way to make sure that they bought like very similar serial numbers and production runs from the manufacturer of matching microphones. And then apparently solid state work came along and more standardized production processes. So you'd have more, two stories. You either have more consistent microphones or you would have no way of making them consistent. But what the manufacturers would do after the fact is basically run their microphones through audio profiling and get statistics, arbitrary statistics on this mic does this well, this mic performs this way at the low end, it's got this kind of pickup pattern. And then it could find like microphones and then you sell them. Has anybody ever considered that in your show design or anything? Is that anything?
Not anymore.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's not really. I mean, the only thing that I do is if I'm putting an SM58 on somebody, I'm gonna have an SM58 over at the.
So you'll do
the
the similar design, but there's no consideration that goes into that SM58 is from 1988 and that SM58 is from 1995.
No, there's no consideration in that. I mean, there's certain microphones that are built for certain things, and I will try to.
Yeah.
If I have the ability, like at the Uptown, I have 15 different kinds of mics there. So, I'll set it up correctly.
And that's another thing too. Anytime in a big production, seems like it's always potluck to me. Like I'll use what tools I have available, and hopefully, because a lot of this stuff is cross-rented for the purpose of the production, and you're just using rental stock. But that's an interesting point, though.
Myself, I have my own drum kit set. I've got 7 mics just for drums. They aren't matched to each other or anything like that, but there's specific mics for specific things.
Right. Well, I was just reading this article today about that. I thought that was an interesting comment, though, because as a non-audio guy, I think we tend to look at something like a microphone like we would any other instrument, like we would a car. Like one Ford Focus is going to be comparable to another Ford Focus. You want blue or do you want gray? What's the problem?
You get somebody that doesn't do audio or doesn't understand it, they're going to go and throw an SM58 up on a drum kit, and you're going to sit there and go, why does it sound?
Well, that I understand.
Wow.
I think if you actually spend some time and look through manufacturer specs, you can see, all right, this is the right instrument for this, or this is the right type of instrument. But just the fact that if I have 2 identical
my boobs
mics,
are getting big.
you got your boob light on today.
Wow.
But just if you have 2 identical instruments, there's really nothing that says those are going to produce the same audio.
Correct.
And I think that's not necessarily a defect. That's not necessarily something that's wrong with the microphones. It's just a fact of the way electronics work. I mean, a lot of this comes down to how much solder is on the connection inside the board and how much, impedance a piece of copper that's 3 millimeters long has versus, things that you would never know or even think to know, but they can have drastic effects on how the audio comes to the end.
Yeah.
And that's I had never heard that conversation before, but apparently it's not as big of a deal as it used to be because now you can buy pretty well-matched microphones without trying. But apparently a lot of thought has gone into that. And if you're having weird artifacts or side effects, you can't understand why, and the microphone is functional, maybe that's why. Maybe you're miking up your band in weird and random ways, and you're not paying attention to this mic is always on this kick drum versus this snare. Maybe you need to start paying attention to that kind of consistency because microphones are a little bit more voodoo than we would care to believe, I think. Like most things in production.
Well, and
there's a science behind it, but there's also an art. And if you don't understand the complexity of the art...
It's a piece of plastic.
It's way more than that, though.
It's a piece of plastic, people. There's a diaphragm. And it will get... If you put, if I put a 57...
No, that's true, too.
On a snare drum, and it's always on that snare drum, that diaphragm will get used to the sound that's coming through it. If you all of a sudden put a really, really heavy bass onto that diaphragm, it's going to crack, it's going to pop, it's going to do something weird. So you got a good point in the fact that there are reasons to separate and all that. Are you going to get that opportunity? No. Do you know why? Because 3/4 of the people that use microphones are churches or something else,
Because nobody knows.
and nobody knows.
But my terror would be putting a stereo pair of microphones up on the podium for President Obama, and he turns this way and talks, and he turns this way and talks, and they sound, it's some kind of weird audio artifact. Everybody's looking at you like, what are you doing wrong? You're like, nothing. I bought both of these today, and they're going through the same channel on the board, or the same.
So
everything's fine.
They bring their own microphone.
That's true. They probably don't let me bring in my own mics. Let me just put this 2 inches from your face, Mr. President.
Well, it's
I'm
like
really
it's like
professional, trust me.
every like professional singer has their own microphone. Like I was actually listening through for some odd reason going through the Katy Perry halftime show, and she had a different mic during the whole show. Like for the first
Every
set with that roar, she had the colored mic that was meant for the roar episode, and then when they went into the beach scene, she had a beach ball colored mic just for that. I'm like,
Well, yeah,
2 or
that's
3
more
different
style.
mic changes and stuff like that.
I'm sure that has nothing to do with fidelity. I'm sure that's
No,
more of
but-
a this matches my bikini top.
Yeah.
You know, which God bless her.
Well,
Um,
you say that, but that's not actually true.
I'm sure that artists will have different mics, but my
when,
point
when,
is
when
that's-
our sound guy left Cantigo and I took over all of the audio there,
oh, that's when it all fell apart.
no, they said it was the best sound they've ever had.
Oh.
I was surprised.
Was your mom watching?
No. KSM. I switched the lead singer over to a KSM M9 head.
Yeah.
And it's a head that's built a little bit more for the high end, so it worked a little bit better for her.
Well, that's I mean, yeah, that's my point though. There's a difference between having the right tool for the right job and considering a hammer, because what you learn when you start looking into the science behind this stuff at a stupid level is this hammer's good for little nails, this hammer's good for 4-inch nails, this hammer's, and there's really no way of knowing just by looking at them, and that's probably why a lot of people have their superstitious microphone, or Aerosmith won't go on without this one, or blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Same reason guitar players have their guitar. You won't just go pick up another Fender at the store before you go on stage and think, it's the same manufacturer, will be fine. No, these things have really subtle little differences, and no matter how good your manufacturing standards are, the physics won't allow them to be identical in ways that are perceivable by the incredibly
And they can look this
talented human
like
ear.
the difference between a Shure KSM9 and a Shure Beta 87 or 87. The shape of the microphone head is the same. The color's slightly different. The rubber band around it's different, so that you could tell the difference in the head. But the response frequencies are totally different. The KSM9 is a crisp, clean, high end, where the 87 is more of your low end. It's more of a standard mic. And you say that these are quirky things that subtle differences that you don't notice, but you do.
Now
Sure,
you will notice the difference between. They make specific models for specific applications.
Sure will give you a frequency chart for every microphone that you get. And you can get them online as well, so that you can look and see what frequency response you need to deal with depending on the singer that you have.
Man, I'm going to give a free plug to Sweetwater.com. They're who I bought the Behringer processor through. But
Go Sweetwater.
I've heard that company. That's a
Good
good company.
free bag of candy with every order. So
Hey.
check it out.
Really?
Yay!
Oh, shit.
That's a horrible throw.
You're a horrible throw. Get off my stage. So I was just flipping through their catalog, and these guys are primarily audio, mainly for bands and musicians and that sort of thing. But if you ever want to see really the complexity that can go into sound production, you can go into the audio processing pedals, like guitar pedals. They have probably 10 pages of guitar pedals that just add different effects and sounds. All these are just crazy little circuits that some guy in his garage invented and then started mass producing. You plug your instrument line in here, does some voodoo, it comes out on the other end, and they call, oh, it's a really cool effect. And you just use this pedal to do it. And there's so many little things that you can do that are just driving electrons to make them sound better. And like I said, I think there is definitely a science to it. It definitely helps to know your principles and to know things about frequency response and to know things about impedance matching and all that great stuff. But man, you could get as deep as you want to in audio and probably never find the bottom because there's so much room for artistic license.
Yamaha came out with the best book ever, and it's called the Sound Reinforcement Handbook. If you want to learn audio, that book will tell you everything that you ever need to know about audio. When I used to tour during sound, that was the one book that I carried with me in my gig bag. It was always there.
So look it up, Yamaha. Good
Yamaha
company.
Sound Reinforcement Handbook.
So a couple more quick hits on audio. You guys want to wrap it up or you want to keep going?
That's up to you.
We've got cigars to smoke, so we probably want to. But
Well, we're at 8:56, which means we've almost been on for an hour.
that's a good target time. About an hour is a good length of show.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about miking your audience for recordings? This is probably a good one for recording because you're a video guy, and I think it's very natural to put a mic on your talent and put a mic on the action. But you lose a lot of ambience, especially if you have really good local mics.
Okay, and that's where it comes in. Like, it's great for like concert settings, live recording on concert settings, when you need the audience interaction. You want to hear that audience laugh and clap and get with it and stuff like that. For closed studio sets, I would never use audio mics, but for live audience stuff, yes, I would do it. And it's pretty simple to do, and you do a lot of pre-recording stuff ahead of time with the audience. If you're doing it for like a DVD or something like that, you'll like before they come out and sing, they'll get a clean take of the audience clapping, cheering, all these different. There'll be three different claps, 3 different cheers. There'll be like a golf clap, then there'll be a medium clap, and then like a really fast action clap, and the same thing with the cheers. There'll be like a yay, woo. Like really like
it makes sense for editing,
for editing that way they have, and usually during this time the cameras will actually be shooting the audience and stuff like that. That's when they're getting some of the audience shots. They might do this for a couple minutes each, and the cameras all have like 2 minutes ISOs of audience reactions and stuff like that, and then
that's smart.
The rest of your cameras can be shooting the stage during this time, and you don't have to worry about
save more lenses for the action. I like to do that. I do a lot of obvious corporate gigs and things like that and conferences, and I still like to do it there. Your main job in those situations is usually to provide the PA, so I won't run the audience into the house sound, obviously.
No,
but I will do a
definitely
submix where they're going into the
It's going to
recording or
broadcast.
being recorded somewhere. Yeah, especially if you're doing broadcast. But a lot of these things aren't even live event. They're just record it for after the fact for maybe like for
It's like
podcasts or something.
Football games and stuff like that. They have audience mics all over the place.
That's a good example of
and
like
baseball,
why
any sporting games.
Imagine
you want to hear
listening
the
to
audience.
a football game or a baseball game where it's just dead. Wouldn't that be awful?
You
But yeah, it's the same thing when you're doing a conference or something. You'll invariably be like, hey, how are y'all doing tonight? Oh shit, we forgot to put a mic out there. So it sounds like crickets. You can't have it. You gotta have that available. Especially it's nice too if a mic goes out. The worst case scenario happens where you lose your main mic or they're doing Q&A in the audience and jackass starts talking before you give them the mic. I don't need a microphone. They can hear me fine. Yeah, they can actually. They're 2,000 miles away. Stupid. Wait for the mic.
It's
just for those parabolic mics.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm not a big fan of mic in audiences, but I can
purpose,
see its purpose, I guess.
Yeah.
But then again, I come from the live world.
I was gonna say you probably don't do a lot of that in theater.
No.
No, you wouldn't want to do it in theater because theater you just want to hear the talent. That's all you want to hear. You want to hear the people on stage.
That's the show.
That's the show. Like,
and that's true. That's a more of a
even
wouldn't do it in television production.
Even in TV broadcast. Like if I was TV broadcasting the a theater show, I would really care about the audience. I really want to care what's on stage.
Yep. And so we talked about Zoom as a company a couple weeks back. Sponsor. They're
Words with friends.
they're a manufacturer of multi-track recorders
Yes.
and things, and there's a lot of nice soundboards out there now, especially ultralight soundboards like we're using here, that also have multi-track recorders. So not only do you get that audio feed go into your PA, go into your main mix, whatever you're doing with it, but you also isolate, record every single microphone coming down the fact for your post-production.
Behringer
Hmm.
X32, man.
It's a
Best
nice
darn
board.
board
Oh
on
my
the market
gosh.
right now.
Excellent.
Everybody hypes about that board.
Dirt freaking cheap, and it does everything you need it to do. And
32 channel board though.
32 channels in, 16 channels out.
Yeah, I would love to find a small version of that we could throw in the flight pack.
They have one.
Like, what's their?
Like the smallest version of that is like
I think we got like a
8
Xenix
channel
8
in,
or
I think
something
it
like
is.
that. Yeah.
Or
Not bad.
12. But it's only like this big.
Yeah. Well, I need about 8 XLR inputs, and that I found a few boards. I think
I
Alan
would do
Heath
the
makes one.
12.
I just need to make it fit inside the
I would do
18-inch rec.
the 12. But what I love about the Behringer board is that you have not only XLR inputs, but you have quarter-inch input, and the outputs are the same. So you've got quarter-inch out, you got XLR out, you've got RCA out, whatever you want.
Well, I'm glad you said that because that brings me to my last thing. And,
RCA's going out. They're gonna quit
Uh,
that soon.
I
RCA,
still live on RCA.
like Radio Shack.
No, the
Talk about
RCA plugs.
Oh yeah, yeah.
RCA's going out.
So,
Sorry.
how would you do audio coming out of a computer, like HDMI or digital audio?
It's gonna go digital.
That's true.
Well, like we've
But-
got now, that little thing I've got is a LTI Blocks laptop interface. It takes the mini jack from the headphone and it
Yep.
runs it through to an XLR
Mhm.
output, so it's got
That's
impedance
pretty nice.
matching. Yeah, it makes it. I will never do a show without one of those now. It's like the best. I would use that over a direct box any day. It's like a $25, maybe a $40 product.
Yeah.
The world is changing, people.
World is changing.
The
anyway.
RCA jacks are going away.
But as far as the outputs on those boards you were talking about a second ago, that intrigues me because a big thing that I like to do, we need to do here, is mix minus, doing
Yeah.
submixes for when we're doing Skype interviews or doing remote broadcasts, or we've got other talent needs to hear different audio chains. We're actually using one of our mix minus outputs right now. I think we've got everything fed into it, so it's really just a mix, but it's a submix that's separate from what TD Jordan over there is catching.
What?
So
Well, and that's the nice thing about that board is that it's got enough of the subs and aux outs.
if you do a band or something, everybody
Yeah.
has their own mix. That's gorgeous.
Even here, if we got to the point of a real producer, they would want us to IFB on separate channels.
Yes,
Yeah.
so they can have side talk and
Correct.
Oh, exactly.
communicate directly with certain people. Yeah.
So, that's where these new digital boards that are coming out are really the way to go.
Yeah, I should have written it down, but I saw a great one today too. It was a touch panel interface.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, I think it was an 8 or a 16 channel. I hate this. I'll put it online or something. But it had 4 XLR/quarter-inch combo inputs. It had 4 additional XLRs, and then it had a pair of RCAs. It had 2 USB IOs, so you could run USB capture to multiple devices or plug in, and it had Wi-Fi built into it, so you could iPad control it. All the sliders were touch screen. Everything was digital, so you could preset scenes and all that stuff. And the board, it was like a cheap little board. It was,
Yeah.
I think it was $800, but it was like a 16-channel board or a 12-channel board when it was all said and done. But that's kind of cool. And then, like we were talking about the remote control for the Roland video mixer. I mean, I think that's huge. That was always my dream when I'm doing this. Is we've got all of the architecture set up on the back end, but as a producer/talent role, you could just sit there with a tablet in your lap and just do simple punches and simple operations.
That's why I'm so into the Behringer stuff. Is the whole fact that we could literally have an iPad sitting here on a table and
We could just, like,
be able to
fire Jordan.
control the whole thing.
I'll be dead.
Dude, he'd be gone.
I know.
Bye-bye.
No, man.
Thanks a lot, guys.
It's like Truman Show, though. Like, when he was the director sitting up there in his little beanie in the
Oh
middle.
yeah.
He had that. Boop, 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 boop. Love it. Want that.
Of course, I do miss our little. My whole My whole thing that I always wanted was a little drop pad right here so that we could do drops ourselves.
Well, that's another thing I want to do is
Boink, boink.
the show is definitely missing that, and just get like a little iPad or something like that, and then
Wah,
Bluetooth it into the
wah.
board, so we don't have to have a cable running. Yeah, why not? Why the hell not?
Why the hell not?
So we'll give that a shot in future episodes, but I think that's a good time to go ahead and start wrapping up this wonderful installment of the Show Tech Show that we thank you so much for
Wow.
joining us for.
About time.
It was a good show. I'm glad we did this. 10 episodes deep this season. Congrats,
Wow,
boys.
we made
We did 10,
I've
Faster.
made 8.
10 in a row. Yeah, that's true. I was here. I live in the studio. Sorry, honey. No,
With a naked kid running around all day.
we try to keep it loose and fast here at the Lone Star. So anyway, join us again next week. We'll be back at Sunday night at 8 o'clock for another Show Tech show. I believe the topic I want to cover is the show must go on.
show must go
How
on.
to deal with adversity. Maybe some choice war stories for when
Oh, wow. That might
the
be
pit
good.
hit the shan and you had to make it happen.
Might be interesting.
Time we're
I
going
think
to have a mutiny and stop him from running this thing.
I'm running out of ideas. Thanks for watching, everybody. Join us again next week, and we'll see you then.